Hello, my friends, and welcome. Good morning, culés. It is time to wake up and Barca smiles on our faces because we've got another win, another 4-goal thriller for the Blaugrana. In today's episode, we are going to do a full match review, including the good, the bad, and the Barca, and we'll be giving out the mustache man of the match. I promise you. Today's segment of the good, the bad, and the Barca will be the most controversial to date. We'll be giving out our awards. We'll be going over all the details. We'll be having a little bit of caffeine. We'll be catching up with each other. That's what we're going to be doing in today's episode. Of course, if this is your first time here, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to the channel. Join in on the conversation with coolies from around the world. As we have a little bit of caffeine, we catch up on the headlines. We'll review the 4-0 victory over Athletic Club, and we'll have a nice little positive start to our day. Now let's jump to the good, the bad, and the Barca. My friends, for those of you that are not familiar with this segment, the good and the bad are pretty obvious. We talk about what was good and what was bad about this match. The Barca can be a player. Sometimes it can be something abstract, but it has to be something very true to Barcelona's identity, to their DNA. And then the mustache man of the match. Sometimes it's the same man of the match as what the broadcast gave out or what La Liga gives out, but sometimes it's a little bit of a curveball, all right? So here's what I'm going to tell you. I want to get this out of the way right now. I want to, before I give out the awards, we have to talk about Dembele. Of course we have to talk about Dembele. 1 goal, 2 assists in a 4-0 win coming off the bench. You would think that he would be a shoo-in for the mustache man of the match. But I'm going to tell you right now, just to get this out of the way, that you will not be seeing Dembele on this list. He will not be recognized in the good, the bad, and the Barca in a positive way for this match. It is not a season-long ban, but for this match, he is not going to be recognized. Reason being, you do not get to come off of the bench when we already have the lead in a La Liga match that was well within our control, where we were not being threatened. You don't get to come into that situation, add to our lead, perform well, and then go, see, pay me money. I'm worth it. I'm worth the 200 million over the next 5 years. Give my agent a bunch of money too. I'm worth it now. No, dude. No. 9 matches played, 1 goal, 5 assists. Let me say that again for everyone who is about to get on the Dembele train. Pay him the money. We got to pay him whatever he wants, blah, 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 blah. Pay Dembele. Whatever the hashtag pay Dembele, whatever you were about to start, whatever nonsense you were about to start. Let me just repeat those stats for you. 9 matches played, 1 goal, 5 assists. That's the stats for Dembele in the 21-22 season. Now, you go ahead and tell me why he's worth 200 million over the next 5 years again. You go ahead. I'm waiting. That's right. He's not. Okay? And it's a match like this that just adds to his delusion. It's a match like this that makes him think, see, I'm Mbappe. I'm pretty much Mbappe. You should pay me like I'm Mbappe. Bro, come on. So for those reasons, Dembele will not be formally recognized in today's good, the bad, and the Barca. I'm not saying he won't be recognized for the rest of the season, but I'm saying you don't get to come in when we're already up 1-0, add to it, and think that everything's okay. You don't get to do that, Dembele. I'm sorry. It's not hate. I'm just not celebrating because of the way that you have behaved in your contract negotiations. I'll leave it there because this should be a positive segment. We played outstanding football. First half was a little bit slow on the attacking side, but I think that was very intentional from Xavi. Think about this. First half, we saw early crosses. We saw crosses from deep positions. What does that do? It forces the opponent to start coming out and defend those crosses. What happens then? There's more space in between our opponent's defensive lines. So now they're easy to break down. Now someone like a Dembele can come on the pitch with his pace and his precision on the ball and create the opportunities that we saw. Kudos to Xavi for figuring out how to get the best out of Dembele. Kudos to Xavi for implementing Xavi football in such a short turnaround and getting the best out of pretty much every player. I'm just so impressed. There's a lot that could have been named in the good box. Shout outs to Abba, another goal, and really the match winner if you think about it. It was the first goal. We could have just kept that game 1-0 if we needed to. Wouldn't have been as fun, wouldn't have been as exciting. Let's acknowledge that. So could have been Abba. Clean sheet. I almost gave it to Ter Stegen because he's been getting a lot of heat lately, so a clean sheet. But when you really look at the match, he wasn't asked to do a lot. So I think what was good about this match was the fact that we got to recognize the true influence that Frankie de Jong is having on this Blaugrana team. At first, I wasn't really happy about him getting a rest, but at the end of the match, what we saw was Frankie de Jong is needed. Frankie de Jong is in our starting 11. I know we have a lot to work out still. Gavi and Nico, they're a year or so away. By the time Boussy's ready to step down, Gavi and Nico will be fully ready to step up. But Pedri and Frankie, come on. You can't have them on the bench unless it's to rest. Frankie comes on, gets an assist to Dembele, and if you look at that pass, show me another midfielder outside of Busquets, maybe a Kevin De Bruyne, maybe one or two others that can make the pass that Frankie de Jong made. And he's playing box to box, sideline to sideline. So good, not just for his performance, but for the fact that he was able to come off the bench, change the game, influence in a way that's going to get him recognized by the Barcelona fan base. So it is good for Frankie de Jong to finally get some recognition from the Culés. Now, what was bad about the match? I'm not going to harp on this a lot, but Ferran Torres, not a good performance. It wasn't even big misses this time. The last time that he was in the bad box, it's because he had 5 big misses against Napoli in that first match. But this time, it's a lack of creativity. It's a lack of spark. I think he needs a rest, to be honest. He's been playing, I think he started every match since he came in for Barcelona. Could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. He's been getting a lot of playing time, and there's a lot of pressure on him right now. Memphis Depay coming back is going to be huge. I think that's going to mean that Torres will get a rest. We don't have another match until next weekend, so we'll see what happens. But again, without really harping on it, and just because nothing else went wrong in this match, Ferran Torres gets the bad box, but with a lot of optimism and a lot of love. Okay, this is a little bit of tough love for Ferran Torres. He's not going anywhere. He's not a flop. None of those things. He's got a very bright future, but a bad performance is a bad performance. So you got to get in the box. Moving on then to what was Barca about this match. Now again, usually it's a player. Sometimes it's a concept. It's something abstract. This time it is a player. Again, could go to Bousy. Shout out to Bousy. First half, one of his best performances in terms of one-touch passing. He was putting himself in positions to ping the ball sideline to sideline, splitting defensive lines. Truly a masterclass from Busquets, like I said, particularly in that first half. You could also go abstract and say that the Barca box goes to Barcelona scoring late goals when we already had the lead. I mentioned this during the live stream, but it's worth saying again. If you go back and watch matches from the 08-09 season, one of the most notable characteristics of that Pep Guardiola team was that when we were up 1-0, 2-0, late in the match, in those last 15 minutes, it wasn't that we were going to sit back and absorb pressure and eventually drop points like we saw under certain managers before Xavi. What we're seeing in this Xavi era is what we saw in the 08-09 season. Press forward, more creativity, more attack in that final third so that we're the ones pressing. We're the ones scoring goals. We're putting in a second, a third, a fourth goal in those last 15 minutes instead of getting pressed on. So I am loving what we're seeing from Xavi. Could have gone the Barca box with that concept, but because he missed out in the last match, I got to give it to him in this one. Serginho Dest for his defensive effort, this time at left back. Jordi Alba suspended for this one, yellow card accumulation. Serginho Dest, who has had a tremendous run of form at right back, has had heaps of praise from Xavi and others, is now asked, hey, can you go do that on the left back side? Because Jordi Alba's out, Balde's injured, we don't have another left back option. Dani Alves returns from his suspension. He had a pretty good game on that right-hand side, but Serginho Dest, 3-4 times, shutting down counterattacks, shutting down balls in behind, and adding in some options on the attacking side. When you see him play on the right wing, he can cut inside, he can get crosses in, because he can play with his weak foot. It's almost as good as his strong foot. What you saw him do on that left-hand side was play a mirrored strategy to what Jordi Alba does in terms of staying high, hugging that left sideline and getting those crosses in. So that was one of the indicators. He and another player we'll talk about in a second both played roles that are a little bit different than what they are typically asked to do, but they stepped up, they did it well. So Serginho Dest, for the performance, not just in this match, but over the last few matches, and his ability to do it on both sides of the pitch, gets the Barca box, the young American Serginho Dest. Now that brings us to the mustache man of the match. Since you already know Dembele is not eligible for the mustache man of the match, and again, tremendous performance from Dembele. A goal, 2 assists off the bench, that's what we want, that's what we expect, but we were already up 1-0. Against a beaten Athletic side who were resting a lot of their players for the Copa del Rey match they have upcoming. Just saying. So the mustache man of the match, no goals, no assists, but bossed the midfield for 90 minutes. It's the young Pedri with the mustache man of the match. And we might go and watch one of the clips. His back heel nutmeg on the sideline, his La Croqueta in the build-up leading to, whose goal was it? Leading to Luke de Goat's goal. Pedri, my goodness. Like I mentioned earlier, Xavi saying in terms of skill and talent, best in the world. I can't disagree. He's showing us that he is well worth the 5 million euros that we spent for him. That's all we paid for Pedri. Are you kidding me? The 5 million euro man, Pedri, mustache man of the match. And again, tremendous performance from the Blaugrana. A third match in a row with 4 goals, 0 losses in 10 matches, 4 wins. Wait, what was it? Yeah, no losses in 10 matches. In the last 6, 4 wins, 2 draws, a tremendous February. And there it is, folks. You're good, you're bad, and the Barca. I'll turn to the chat. I'll get some thoughts. If you're watching this on replay, let me know down in the comments what you think. I want to know your good, bad Barca mustache man of the match. Shout out to everyone in the Stash Squad. If I missed you, I apologize. I'll catch you next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And I will see you next time right here on the Undefeated channel. Thanks for tuning in and taking a ride. Mwah.